I think the universe heard my wishes and decided to grant them for the new year, and that is to visit Italy again. This entire vlog was filmed in January this year, and I'm taking you along on a solo travel date with me to Venice. I have 3 nights in Italy, and I immediately knew that I wanted to spend 2 of them in Venice. It's a place I dreamt of visiting since I was a teenager, and now I finally get to experience it for myself. So let's go. Don't know if you can tell, but I am severely sleep deprived. My flight was delayed for about 3 hours, so the moment I landed, I didn't even bother showering. I just repacked my bags and headed straight to Milan Central train station. At this point, I'm running on 2 brain cells and just pure excitement for Venice. And we arrived in Venice. I swear my jaw dropped the moment I stepped off the train. Venice looks exactly like a Renaissance painting. Every corner felt like a scene from a painting, and I just wanted to take it all in. The hotel that I booked in Venice is just half an hour walk away from Venezia train station. I managed to take a canal ride for just €2 to get to my hotel. If you're looking for a canal ride experience but don't want to spend too much, this is definitely an option to consider. Also, I'm so thankful I only brought 1 bag. Normally, I'm a heavy packer, but this time, I had to keep things light. Now, here's the hotel I booked for 2 nights. Corte Barozzi, Venice Suites. It's right beside Piazza San Marco, which makes everything super accessible. After a shower and a quick rest, I headed out for dinner. I didn't have a thorough plan for this trip, especially when it comes to restaurants. If you traveled with Valerie 5 years ago, she would have had a full spreadsheet itinerary, and missing even one location would have left me disappointed. Now, I just want to enjoy the moment without the fear of missing out. I ended up settling in a random restaurant and got myself frutti di mare and oysters. It was so fresh. The pasta was alright, nothing too special. After dinner, I took one last stroll through the quiet streets of Venice before heading back to my hotel to rest. I'm not a morning person, sunrises are rare for me, but sitting here at the edge, watching the sky slowly catch fire, I feel like I'm living again. The cold air, the quiet ripples, the birds soaring freely overhead. It's a kind of stillness I don't usually witness. Maybe that's the magic of mornings. Not just the light, but the way they remind you that you're here, breathing, feeling, existing, and right now, that is enough. As I mentioned, Venice used to be my teenage dream. I remember painting a picture of the canals at 15, trying to capture a place I had never seen, only imagined. The painting in my mind has come into life, more vivid, more real than I ever could capture it back then. It's strange how something that once felt so distant can suddenly be right in front of you, like stepping into a memory that never existed, yet somehow always belonged to you. It makes me wonder how magical manifestation is, because somehow everything that I once dreamed of just happens to become an experience, as if the things we long for find their way back to us in time. Wandering through Venice, I searched for the perfect spot to paint. Somewhere quiet, away from the crowds. As I sat up, I noticed another artist across from me. He was settling up his canvas, ready to paint the same canals and bridge that had drawn me here. But Venice in winter is unforgiving. The cold crept into my fingers, turning every brush stroke into a struggle. In a moment of carelessness, my brush actually slipped from my hands. A smear of paint spread across the page, ruining the careful details that I've been working on. My hands were already numb, I was shivering, and in the end, I didn't finish the painting. Well, I felt really terrible. I was questioning my ability to paint, but I guess I needed to remind myself that not all paintings are perfect, and that's okay. I wandered into Libreria Acqua Alta, a bookstore unlike any other. Piles of books stacked in bathtubs, gondolas, even an old canoe. It felt more like a hidden treasure trove than a shop. After getting lost in the pages for a while, hunger pulled me back to reality. I stopped by Del Moro's Fresh Pasta to Go. I stood by the canal, contemplating whether to splurge on a gondola ride. It was really expensive, 100 euros. And I couldn't help but hesitate. But then I thought, I'm here already, and when will I ever get another chance like this again? So I decided to go for it. And I'm so glad that I did. The ride was everything I imagined. My gondola guide, Francisco, he was incredible. The best part? He sang. As we floated along, he filled the air with a sweet melody, the kind you only hear in the movies. It felt like the city itself was singing along. The funniest moment came when he jokingly told me that it was his first day of work. And I congratulated him, saying that I must have been his first customer. Of course, he laughed and revealed that it was all a joke, that he had been working for a decade. He just wanted to feel young again. He rode me all the way to Ponte di Rialto, pointing out famous landmarks and hidden corners of the city. It was the perfect little moment of connection in this tiny city. Sometimes you just have to take the leap and enjoy the experiences. After my gondola ride, I made my way to Doge's place. Doge's Doge Palace? Doge's Palace. Stepping into the world filled with history and art. The moment I walked through the doors, I was struck by the sheer beauty of this place. The walls were adorned with stunning paintings. The ceiling itself was a masterpiece. I stood in awe, taking in the Grand Paradise painting by Tintoretto. As I wandered through, I found myself standing at a bridge of sighs, gazing through the narrow windows. The bridge, once a passage for prisoners being taken to their cells, now offered a haunting view of the canals below. The thought of it sends a chill down my spine. A while later, as the sun began to dip, I found another quiet spot near the gondola. The light was soft, the air still chilly, but I decided to sit there and sketch instead of painting. I've learned something about myself during this trip, and it's that I can't paint well when it's this cold. It felt good just sitting there, letting the city unfold around me, while I let the pen flow on the page. After finishing my sketch, I felt hungry and wandered to a nearby restaurant. I ended up with just a simple, delicious pizza, warm, cheesy, and just everything I needed to wrap up the day. The next day, I woke up early, determined not to miss the sunrise. The sky gradually shifted from soft blues to warm orange hues, and everything felt so peaceful, like the world was still waking up with me. Sitting on a bench next to the pier, I took out my sketchbook and once again I reached out for a ballpoint pen. As the sun rose higher, I captured the calm of the moment, the soft ripples on the water, the silhouette of the basilica against the sky. There's something about the sunrise I love. The stillness, the sense that the day's full of possibilities. It's a perfect way to start the morning with nothing but the beauty of the moment. I froze myself again, sitting there in the cold, but the sunrise was worth it. After completing the sketch, I quickly made my way to a nearby cafe. A hot chocolate and a warm breakfast is exactly what I needed to defrost. Checking out. I'm gonna miss this room a lot. Afterwards, I headed back to the hotel, packed my bags and checked out. I felt kind of sad checking out. It was my last day in Venice, and I wasn't quite ready to leave. The hotels had been so nice, letting me store my bags there so I could still go out freely without the weight of them. It has been so cold. I don't know how people do this. I want to get another painting or drawing done, so we shall see.
A picture of my studio.
I wandered around aimlessly, curious to see what I could find. I passed a bustling morning market, soaking in the sights and sounds before finally settling on a bench to paint. I love colors, so despite the cold being my weakness, when it comes to painting, I was determined to try again. I was halfway through my piece when a middle-aged man approached me. At first, he seemed harmless, but he said he was an artist too and invited me to his house studio. He even suggested that I pose as his model for a drawing.
I would like to show you my studio. Well, maybe today, and maybe we don't meet again. And that's a picture of my studio, and this is my house. The room. She's from Norway.
Something about the way that he spoke made me feel uneasy, and I knew I needed to be cautious.
Yes.
It was one of those moments where my instincts told me to politely decline and keep my distance.
Why not?
Even though I declined, he kept insisting. I think I wasn't being firm enough because, honestly, I was really scared. He told me he'll be back after getting groceries, and if he sees me again, he'll take me to his studio. And that was the moment I knew I needed to leave. I'll have to continue this when I'm back. My hands are like frozen. And I wanna get away before he comes back. I quickly stopped painting and pack up my things. Okay. I didn't want to take any chances, so I left before he came back. Another lesson that I learned is that I need to listen to my instincts even though it's uncomfortable. It was a reminder to trust my gut, especially when some things doesn't feel quite right. Sometimes in new places, you come across all kinds of people, some inspiring, others not so much. And it's important to trust how you feel about them. Leaving Venice behind as I set off for Milan. Heading back now. The city had given me so much beauty, inspiration, and a few unexpected encounters. Every journey leaves its mark, and Venice was no exception. Though my time in Venice has its highs and lows, it was an experience I would never forget. Sometimes the journey is more about than just the places you visit. It's about the moments that shape you along the way.